There are many interesting reunions that could go down in Season 7. In this video, we are going to go over our top 20, but we will briefly mention 76 others that would be cool, like Varys, Theon, and Grey Worm, who might all duke it out for the love of the beautiful Miss Sunday. Jokes aside, please close out now if you're not caught up through Season 6 of Game of Thrones. Let's start with Tyrion, since he has interacted with people from the Wall all the way to Slaver's Bay. Tyrion and Benjen did not see eye to eye. Neither did Tyrion and Robb and Arryn. Tyrion built Bran a special riding saddle, so it would be pretty cool if Bran paid Tyrion back with answers to some of the mysteries, such as who's Tyrion's real father? Was it Tywin or Mad King Aerys? Sansa and Tyrion were married, and Tyrion and Jon built a true friendship by the time they parted all the way back in Season 1, Episode 3. So Tyrion will probably play a crucial role in connecting Jon and Dany. Davos fought on the other side of the battle as Tyrion at the Battle of Blackwater, where Davos lost all but one of his sons in the books, and his only son in the show. I feel like Tyrion and Davos will eventually get along, but their introduction could be a little tense. Cersei wants to kill Tyrion because she thinks that he's the Valonqar, and also because she thinks he poisoned Joffrey. And Sandor ditched Tyrion at the Battle of Blackwater. Pod and Tyrion bonded, so this will be a feel-good reunion. Don't forget that Pod saved Tyrion's life, and Tyrion saved Pod's by getting him out of King's Landing during the trial. And Tyrion and Jorah eventually formed a relationship of sorts. I could see Tyrion having a funny dynamic with Tormund, Brienne, and Lyanna Mormont, and I could really see Tyrion and Sam getting along, since they're both pretty much bookworms. Let's throw Varys in there too. Sam would undoubtedly get a huge kick out of Varys' breath of knowledge. Ellaria and the Sand Snakes killed his niece, Myrcella, and Littlefinger framed Tyrion for murder twice. But with all that said, the reunion that I am most looking forward to for Tyrion is sort of a love triangle. Not between Jaime, Cersei, and Tyrion, come on. I'm referring to a bromance love triangle. In the books, Tyrion is pissed at Jaime right now, after learning the truth about his first wife, Tysha. And in the show, Jaime is pissed at Tyrion for killing Tywin. So I am most interested in these two brothers finally reconnecting, and I expect Bronn to bridge the gap between the two, since he's friends with both of them at this point. Now let's look at Sir Jaime of Clan Lannister. As we already mentioned, Ellaria and the Sand Snakes killed Jaime's daughter Myrcella. Not cool. Varys helped Jaime free Tyrion. Here's a big one. Jaime and Dany, since Jaime killed Dany's father, Mad King Aerys. A third huge reunion involving Jaime is him and Bran. This is arguably the coolest reunion of them all, as it goes all the way back to Season 1, Episode 1. I expect Bran to forgive Jaime, but Jon, Sansa, and Arya might not be so forgiving. If Euron hits on Cersei, things could get interesting if Jaime is around. Then again, Jaime has one foot out the door already because Brienne and him are lovebirds in denial. So number 4, Brienne and Jaime. This one could be very dramatic based off something that is happening in the books involving Lady Stoneheart. So Jaime went behind Cersei's back, gave his Valyrian steel sword to Brienne, named it Oathkeeper, and told her to go find and protect Sansa, a girl who Cersei wanted to find and kill. He's clearly trying to fill in that last page of the Book of Brothers with honorable deeds. And like I said in the Lady Stoneheart scene video, I would be shocked if we do not see a variation of this play out in either Season 7 or Season 8. In the show version of the story, I expect Littlefinger to brainwash Sansa and convince her to order Brienne to kill Jaime. If this happens, I hope that Brienne makes the right choice and reneges on her oath to Sansa, which would be pretty cool because right now, Brienne is sort of blinded by oaths in an illogical way, similar to people like Ned and Sir Barristan the Badass. Moving on, Clegane Bowl. Some fans think it's better if Sandor moves on with his life, but other fans still want to see a good old sword fight. Well, Joseph Raymond came up with an idea a couple months ago that could please both sides, a mercy kill. Picture this, so Sandor travels to King's Landing with the intent of finally killing his brother, but when he sees what Qyburn has done to Gregor, he kills him out of mercy, to set him free in a sense. Bronn and Sandor got heated before the Battle of Blackwater, but Bronn later saved Sandor's life during the Battle of Blackwater. So the warrior I am most excited to see Sandor reunite with is Brienne, since they both tried to kill each other. Their reunion could escalate quickly, and you know what? Because of his history with both Arya and his little bird Sansa, I consider both of these reunions to be huge moments as well. What's wild is that everyone thinks that Arya is dead, so Sandor's going to shock everybody when he tells them about his journey with little Arya. And even Sandor's reunion with Littlefinger is going to be huge. I really want him to expose Littlefinger's betrayal of Ned in the Great Throne Room. Here's a cool one, Nymeria. Arya and Nymeria need to reunite. The camera angle from one of the early trailers is down low, so we may get our wish in Season 7. Question is, will they have a cute reunion and then part ways? Or will Nymeria stick around for the long haul? Because in the books, Arya has been dreaming through Nymeria's eyes for years. She did this while she was traveling with the Hound, and she even had wolf dreams from overseas in Bravos. Her connection to Nymeria is really strong, and Nymeria is running around as the alpha of some giant wolf pack. That wolf pack could come in handy in the war versus the Dead Army. Now let's look at Dany. These are not reunions per se since she fled to Essos as a child, but there are a lot of cool introductions that could go down for Dany, like Cersei and Dany, since some people think that Dany is a younger, more beautiful person to cast Cersei down. Personally, I don't buy that. I think that Brienne will prove to be the younger, more beautiful person, more beautiful at heart. But either way, Dany and Cersei need to converse face to face at some point. I'd really like to see Quaithe return. It'd be cool if the show finally went full high fantasy and gave Dany some prophetic dreams with Quaithe. And if not, maybe Quaithe will help heal Jorah's grayscale since we saw her protecting some random dude who was about to travel through the Doom of Valyria a few seasons ago. It will also be interesting to see Dany's response if Euron speaks rudely to her about his not so big member, and the dynamic between Sansa and Dany can be pretty cool. But without a doubt, one of the biggest interactions this season will be Dany and Jon. Dany is Jon's aunt, but I suspect that neither of them will know that, which is where Tyrion will come into play as previously mentioned, bridging the gap between the two, whom he sees as friends. And let's not be surprised if Jorah heals his arm, like Dany commanded him to do, and arrives in the nick of time to save her life. And here's a little tinfoil for you. Dany and the Night King, fire and ice, and hopefully Jon will be there as well to complete the Song of Ice and Fire. Speaking of Jon Snow, let's check out the possibilities for him. At some point, him and Sam need to reconnect. It will be cool if Jon and Beric hang out since they've both died, been to the other side, and seen nothing. And it'd be a travesty if Jon and Benjen never reunite. Ned Stark called for Jorah's head, so it will be interesting to see what Jon does if Jorah shows back up to Westeros. And I could see Jon being pissed at Theon for taking over Winterfell back in the day. I'm pumped to see Jon meet Sandor, especially if it happens after Jon learns about Sandor protecting both Sansa and Arya. The Stark reunion as a whole is pretty awesome, but Jon and Arya in particular will be special. Even more special than Arya and Gendry if he ever makes his way back into the story.
I've never had a family.
I can be your family.
You wouldn't be my family. You'd be my lady.
Before moving on, let's quickly touch on Gendry, the Smith in the Seven Heroes theory. Remember that the Brotherhood gave him to Melisandre, who intended on using him for his king's blood, but Davos risked his own life to ship him off, a nod to Davos being the father in the Seven Heroes theory. Gendry was buddies with Hot Pie, so it'll be interesting if Gendry or Arya run into Hot Pie and get a taste of his new and improved bread. And this is pretty random, but I could see Pod and Gendry getting along. I feel like most of the favorites are going to die, but people like Pod and Gendry are the future, so I'm pumped to see them meet and forge the beginning of hopefully a lifelong friendship. Speaking of the old and new generations, I can't wait to see Jorah reunite with Lyanna, and let's throw Jon in the mix too, since I really want Jon to give Longclaw back to Jorah and start using the legendary sword Dawn, even though Jon is not a Dane. Dawn has got to play a part in bringing forth the dawn of a new day from a world of darkness. Since Sam stole his father's Valyrian steel sword Heartsbane, Sam will probably run into either his father or his brother Dickon on behalf of his father. I'm really pulling for Dickon to be a good guy. I hope Cersei has another face-to-face with Olenna, and maybe even Tommen. How could that happen? If Arya uses Tommen's face. Or even cooler, a reunion between Cersei and Nymeria, since Cersei sentenced Nymeria's sister lady to death. A Littlefinger and Varys reunion is a must. It would definitely have epic dialogue. And I'd love to see Missandei interact with Littlefinger since she's a smart cookie who might be able to see past his facade. And things will get pretty interesting if Bran notifies everyone of the truth behind Littlefinger, especially if a feisty little faceless Arya is there and hears about everything that Littlefinger's done. Tycho Nestoris from the Iron Bank may show his face again, so it will be cool to see him interact with Cersei since the crown owes him so much money. Davos has also conversed with Tycho in the past, and Tycho may even chat with Jaqen. Granted, if the Iron Bank hires a faceless man to do some dirty work, it's doubtful that we will see that conversation go down on screen, since it will ruin the surprise of the faceless man's kill. I could see Daario and Bronn having a funny dynamic. Bronn and Pod were funny in the past, and I'd like to see Bronn and Tyene reunite since I love them both in different ways. And it will be interesting to see Tormund with basically any other badass like Daario, Bronn, Thoros, Beric, or Jaime. Speaking of funny, Lyanna Mormont could have a funny dynamic with nearly everyone. Dany, Varys, Sandor, Sam, Bronn, Beric, or Thoros as a few examples. As long as she calls Sansa Sandra one more time, I'll be happy.
As far as I understand, you're a Snow, and Lady Sandra is a Bolton. Who's your Lannister? I've heard conflicting reports.
Davos and Gilly are both learning how to read, and Davos and Brienne both want to kill Melisandre. And this is a little out there, but at some point, Arya may need a father figure to rein her back in from kill mode. Davos may be able to provide this type of love since he was an amazing father to his sons, as well as a surrogate father to the beloved Shireen, who is one of the only non-Grey characters that I can find in a story full of Grey characters. No grayscale jokes, please. Jorah is Varys' informant, so it will be cool to see them reconnect, and considering Varys' distaste for magic, it will be interesting to see him run into someone like Quaithe, or more likely, Melisandre. Varys and Melisandre could definitely butt heads. Speaking of which, Qyburn's been using Varys as little birds. Not cool, Qyburn. Arya and Melisandre are definitely going to run into each other.
We will meet again.
But how will it go down? Arya didn't mention Mel the last time she said her kill list, and the first thing that Mel looks for in her flames are assassination attempts on her own life. So I don't foresee Arya trying or being able to kill Mel, but something's going to happen between the two of them. Maybe they will meet at the very end of the story. It'd be kind of cool if Mel, just like Jojen, has foreseen her own death at the hands of Arya, but not until Mel's role in the wars to come is done and dusted. A tinfoil theory is that the entire story is being read from Sam to baby Sam, and in order to put together the most complete and accurate story, Bran and Sam will need to connect at some point so that Bran could give Sam an inside look into, well, everything. And last but not least, Jaime and Jon. Why? Well, this one is a nod to book readers. The legendary Fever Dream chapter. In that Fever Dream, Sir Arthur Dayne, Rhaegar, and other men of the Kingsguard get on Jaime's case for not protecting Rhaegar's children, Rhaenys and Aegon. Well, guess what? Rhaegar had another son, Mr. Jon Snow. So I am pumped to see Jaime find out about this, rush to Jon's side, and pledge his sword. End his life.